Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Rayanne and today I'm here to give you my April and May wrap up. So I did not read many books this April and May. In total I read 5. 1 in April and then 4 in May, which is pretty... Honestly, it's pretty average for me in terms of this time of year. I'm really not a big spring reader. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the books I read. So the first book I read in April was the only book I read in April, and it is I Love My Love by Raina Biddy. This is a collection of poetry, and I really liked it. It's kind of on the similar playing field as Milk and Honey and The Princess Saves Herself in the End in this one. I thought it was really great. There were a lot of poems that really resonated with me. One in particular felt like it was my soul bared on paper, and it was honestly incredible to read it. Some of the other poems, didn't really fit with me, but that's poetry. You win some, you lose some. But overall, I really liked this one, and if you guys are interested in reading or, starting more poetry that is kind of like Milk and Honey, I would recommend you look into this one. This is more focusing on Raina Biddy's journey through just self-discovery about her own personal love, how she loves people, what previous lovers have done to her and how that affects how she loves people. Yeah, really liked it, and I think I read it at a very good point in my life. No real surprise, the next book I read was a new release in May, and it is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I have a full book review for this book up on my channel, link up here in the cards if you want to go check it out. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really good. Unfortunately, it is not as good, in my opinion, again, my opinion, as A Court of Mist and Fury, which is the second book in the ACOTAR trilogy, but I was still pretty satisfied with this conclusion. There are a couple things that I have some issues with in the book overall, which I address in that big, long review if you want to go check that out there. But yeah, suffice it to say, I really did enjoy this book, and I am happy that I read it and that I have 2 copies of it, one of which is defaced, so that's fun. The next book I read in May was a continuation of a series that I started back in August, I think, and it is A Murder of Crows by Anne Bishop, the second book in the Others series. This series is a urban fantasy adult series, and I really do enjoy it. It takes a little bit to get used to the world building because it is very much our world, but there's a lot of different things in it that you need to be aware of while you read. Thankfully, the preface or foreword or whatever in the very beginning of, I think, probably every book in this series kind of reiterates the world, so regardless of how long of a time you took in between reading the books, it kind of tells you what you need to know, and then also when you're first starting the first book, which is written in red, it really helps kind of just pave the way so you know what's going on in terms of the world. I thought Murder of Crows was a very good sequel to Written in Red. I think I liked Written in Red a little bit more, but I thought Murder of Crows, really did help progress the story, and it progressed the romance a bit. It's still a very slow-burning romance, which I'm excited to see how it progresses in the third book, which I unfortunately don't have. I have the 4th one, but I have yet to be able to find the 3rd one in hardcover, and I am that type of person, so I need it in hardcover, but we'll get there when we get there. I thought it was really good. If you were interested in starting more adult fantasy series, Written in Red, the first book, is something I would recommend you look into if you don't mind swearing. There's a lot of swearing in this book series, a bit of nudity, nothing graphic in terms of sex yet anyway, so that could very well change, but I haven't read, I've only read 2 books, and I think there's 5 or 6 out right now. Can't be certain on that, but I really did enjoy this. I thought it wrapped up a lot of some plot points from the first book, but then it also opened up a lot more that need to be addressed and everything in further books, so it isn't something where you're going to keep dragging out a storyline for a long period of time. It has wrapped up a lot of things from book 1, but then also kind of directed your attention to this larger scale issue that is going on that will probably be addressed in books 3 onward. I don't know how many books will be in this series total, but I am really enjoying this one. The next book I read was another book of poetry, and it is We Carry the Sky by Michaela Robin. I talked about this briefly in my haul video for May and April, and I really, really loved this book. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It is along the similar lines of feminist and self-love poetry like Milk and Honey, so if you're interested in that, I would really recommend you pick this one up. I think it is fabulous. There are some poems that kind of take place from the perspective of famous women. For example, there's one from Cleopatra, one from Helen of Troy, there's one from Cinderella's stepsisters, and it's really just a fantastic read. I really, really enjoyed it, and a lot of it is so very quotable. I kind of want to paint some quotes from it, which I might do soon. I haven't decided yet. I'm in the middle of downsizing and kind of like packing up my whole life, so I don't know when I'll get the time to do that, but hopefully I'll be able to do that at some point because I thought this was absolutely gorgeous. So if you're looking to get into poetry, I would also really recommend you look into this one. And then the last book in this wrap-up is another book of poetry, and it is Love and Other Small Wars by Donna Marie Riley. I didn't like this one as much as the other two books of poetry that I mentioned in this wrap-up, but I still really did enjoy this. The poetry in this one is longer, so if you aren't a fan of the shorter poetry that you see in things like Milk and Honey, this might be one that you can look into. It does focus obviously a lot on love and different types of lovers that you might experience. The first poem is actually called How to Love Your Depressed Lover, which is something that I was really kind of drawn to with a title such as that. I really did enjoy it. I thought it was beautifully written. Definitely, you know, got a lot of the self-love elements that you would see in things like Milk and Honey or The Princess Saves Herself in this one. I would recommend you look into it, but just so you're aware of my own personal thoughts, it's not the best book of poetry I've read, but it was still pretty good. So overall, not the best reading months I've had, but certainly not the worst by any means. I am pretty happy with the books that I read. I liked the majority of them, and I was kind of, you know, April and May is just an intense couple of months in college, and I was finishing up my junior year and I had stuff to do, so reading took a backseat. And this summer is pretty busy for me, so I don't know how much reading I'll actually be able to do. Hopefully I'll get a little bit more reading done than I was able to in April and May, but you know, c'est la vie, we'll just have to see, I suppose. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. In a comment down there, let me know the best book you read in April and May. I would love to find out. Please give me a like if you enjoyed. Hit that red subscribe button down there to keep seeing more of my videos. Links in the description, as always, to my Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads. Be sure to go follow me and add me on Goodreads and all of those other social media platforms to stay up to date on my life. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!